Okay, so one of the questions I got asked after the Romexis video went out was, where do you design the crown? And I'm going to go over that process right now. Now remember, the crown that you design on CEREC can't be imported into Romexis. CEREC owns the rights to that, so you can use it in a Sirona product, like their own implant planning software, which hopefully we're working towards. But right now you can't. So this is more for evaluation by you and your faculty to determine, what and where this implant may go. So let's kind of set it up. So could you do it as a restoration and circle a margin and go from there? Yeah, you can. But let's go down here to this guy called CEREC Guide. Now, CEREC Guide has basically a couple things. It has the implant position and it has prosthetic planning. So that's what you want. You want the prosthetic planning portion of it. So you want to make sure that that's checked. Then you're going to select any type of virtual mill. And now we're going to actually go and design the crown. So we're going to put tooth number 3. That's where we're going to place the implant. And we're going to go down the line. So we already have our acquisition. So we have all our models that we need. So I'm going to skip that. And we're going to come here to tooth number 3. Now there's the space, tooth number 3. And let's take a look at the upper and lower jaw. That's the upper and jaw lower together. So you can see you have plenty of inner arch space. So again, you're using this to just analyze everything. We put the model contacts on. Now we can see that the contacts are, you capture the contacts correctly. For the most part, so everything looks good on there. So now we're going to go to design, and once you go to design, let's go back here. It's going to go through this process. So because I already did this, it kind of placed it. Now the computer is going to read, okay, it's tooth number 3, and it's just going to drop it in. Now it's going to drop it in based on the opposing occlusion. So it may not be exactly perfectly in line. So right now the computer is saying, well, we like this position because that's where it is underneath the occlusion of the opposing teeth. That's the good thing about using the prosthetic planning portion of the CEREC Guide, that you can actually plan that crown, and it's going to put it relatively in the place where it's going to be best occlusally. So let's just kind of make it more ideal. So I want to make sure that I'm being hidden right in the middle. So I'm just going to bring up the entire occlusion, and then I'm going to just change things like cuspal height, and the marginal ridges are too high. So now we want to see exactly where this tooth's going to hit, and now you can kind of start seeing, oh, it's going to be hitting somewhere in this general vicinity. That's kind of the information you want to know, so you know that you're not adding contacts and cantilevers. Is it going to be in crossbite? Is this going to be a mesial distal contact and no central groove contact that might occur, when you get in between, lower premolar, between the premolars? You want to know all this information. So now you're going to look at where this crown is going to go. So for all intents and purposes, looking at this, it looks like where we're going to put this implant is somewhere right in this vicinity. And to kind of give you an idea, what I'll do is I'll go to remove, and I'll go right into about the size of the screw channel hole, and you've probably seen me do this before, and then make basically the simulated screw channel. The simulated screw channel is where the screw gonna go and where the center of that implant goes. And if I ghost this restoration over here, you can see the line in which it's going down. I mean, if you want to do more and bring it down more, you can, but really at that point, you're just trying to simulate, okay, where in this jaw is this implant going to go? So looks like it's going to be hitting right there in the middle. We ghost this all the way around, or we turn it off. Now we can see it's probably going to be somewhere in this vicinity right here. So now you can have a logical discussion with your faculty to say, okay, looks like the implant crown is going to be placed in this area. Do we need to obviously go forward and do a GBR? If this was in the upper, do we need to add bone? Do we need to do grafting? If it's lower, do we need to do ridge splits? Those kinds of things. Okay, so that is how you're going to design the crown in CEREC for implant planning purposes. So make sure you go to administration, make sure you go down to CEREC Guide, make sure prosthetic planning is on, and then you're going to do the design. Now at this point you can save it. Now if we were going to continue on, you're going to be like, well, what are all these down here? This is if you're going to continue on in designing your guide. You would have to have the implant data. So basically you would need where the Romexis data or anything like that. But since CEREC only uses a Cydexis guide file, this file is proprietary to them. So right there is, unless you have that file, you can't continue on designing your CEREC guide. Hopefully in the future we'll talk more about that, but right now this would be the extent of your design interface, to have that discussion with your faculty and with the surgeons, and then have that information going into the generic design in Romexis. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help.